Hi guys, what is up? It is Snitchery. How you doing? I hope everyone's holidays were really good and really fun and really special. Regardless of what you celebrate, if you celebrate anything at all, I hope they were amazing and really happy days. We're coming up on the new year, like rapidly, which is so scary. New decade, all that jazz. My frequent existential crises have been piling on top of each other at what I see to be an alarming rate, which is awesome. Today we are continuing our catfish makeup series with some nose contour. I'm nervous about today's video because this is one of my most highly requested videos, especially in this sort of like catfish makeup series. But to keep it 100 with you guys, nose contour is probably my least favorite thing to do in my entire makeup routine. Okay, full disclosure, I don't actually think I'm very good at it. I have definitely had some, I was gonna flatter myself and say questionable, but they were bad. I've had some bad nose contour in the past, and if you look back on my old videos, you will see some really traumatically bad nose contour, okay? I'm not trying to hide it. It definitely has not been my forte. I feel like I got my lips down, I got my eyes down, I got my face contour down, and then because my nose was always kind of a part of my face I didn't really love, I just didn't focus on it. I would rush it every time. So what we're gonna do today is actually use the techniques that I do know for nose contour, and we're gonna see if we can figure something out together, okay? I would love to do like one good nose contour, if that makes sense. Like one nose contour to rule them all. If I could just do it once, maybe I would put in the 5 minutes to do it every other day, okay? So this is gonna be an adventure for everybody involved. Mostly me. But before that, if you've never seen my face before and are ever interested in seeing my face again, we would love to have you if you'd like to subscribe down below. Recently, we've been doing a lot of these catfish makeup tutorials where I show you guys how to really exaggerate certain features on your face, really change them up with makeup. If you go back to my playlist that I have, I don't actually know if I can link anymore, so I might be pointing at nothing, but it'll be in the description. A playlist of eyes, of lips, brows, and how to lift your face, perfect skin. So we fake all that with makeup over here, and if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then feel free to subscribe. It would make me so happy. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining me on this little video journey. It means the world, as always. Also, if you like this sort of videos, hit them with a like. It lets me know to keep doing them because they've been doing really well. So anyway, this video also has a sponsor, and it's maybe my favorite sponsor to talk about. It's certainly one that I've talked about the most on YouTube because I've been using the service organically since like 2016 or something. Today's sponsor is Audible. Yes. If you somehow don't know what Audible is, it is an audiobook listening service. They have an unmatched selection of audiobooks. Essentially, if you can think of a story, then they probably have it in audio format. I have gushed about Audible before on my channel, how much I love audiobooks, how relaxing I find them. Not to toot my own horn, but I do occasionally get comments from people saying that they like the way I speak, they like the way I form my sentences and sort of my cadence, and I think a lot of that is informed by the fact that I am constantly listening to audiobooks. Anytime I'm in the car, anytime I'm trying to go to sleep, anytime I'm doing, oh my god, chores around the house, audiobooks are just, to me, the easiest way to keep your brain moving throughout the day, to keep learning. Recently, I've been listening to Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and from what I've gathered so far, it's essentially all about sort of the inherent decisions that humans make, explores our instincts and why we think certain things and make certain split-second decisions. So kind of exploring the unconscious human mind in its rawest form, where we're maybe not employing, you know, step-by-step thinking. Audible also offers what's called Audible Originals. Audible Originals are exclusive stories told by celebrated storytellers from fields like theater and journalism and literature, of course. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, or if you're just interested in getting into audiobooks yourself, Audible right now has a deal where you can get your first audiobook for free, and you also get 2 free Audible Originals when you try Audible for 30 days. So essentially you can get listening immediately. For that deal, you can go to audible.com/snitchery or text Snitchery to 500-500. Again, that is audible.com/snitchery or text Snitchery to 500-500. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this video as always, and let's get into some nose contour. It's actually so weird to see my face like this because nose contour is usually one of the first things I do on my face. Like I said, I hate it because if I leave it till the end, it'll be a disaster. As always, I haven't watched anybody else's nose contour videos because I don't want to just pick up their technique and regurgitate it to you guys. So if I break any hard and fast nose contour rules, Sorry. A couple things before we really get into it. I wanted to already have the rest of my makeup done so that we could just do a straight one-to-one comparison, but just a couple vocal tips and tricks that I found help my nose contour look a little bit better. I definitely always make sure to use like a very sticky gripping primer so that my nose contour doesn't slide around throughout the day. Today I used the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I'm sure if you're in the beauty world or in the makeup world in any capacity, you've probably heard of it. Also, if you want to have just the most snatched nose contour you could possibly imagine, I do find that it helps to exfoliate before. You might want to do a pore strip or something like that. Lastly, some people hate this. I take my eyebrows in really close together. Some people really don't like this, so if you hate this and now you won't be able to unsee it on my makeup, I'm sorry. But my brows really stop like right about here, and I had a lot of extra, I don't know. I feel like it makes the bridge of my nose look narrower. I feel like it makes my face look more snatched in general. Like I said, some people won't like it, okay? I'm aware of that, but I think unibrows are sexy, and I think I look sexy like this. So I think one of the main reasons that my nose contour sometimes looks really bad is because I don't have a particular nose contour shade, if that makes sense. I kind of just grab whatever like bronzer or contour powder is around at the time and just contour my nose with that. And the problem is when you're contouring the side of your face, you can make it really warm because it's always going to sort of sit with your blush. We expect warmth on the side of the face. We expect warmth on the forehead. We want warmth in those places, but in the middle of the face on your nose, that's not really where you want any sort of warmth. We don't really want to see makeup lines on our nose, right? So when you pick a really warm color, it kind of stands out as like, that's a lot of makeup on her nose, which is not really what I want. Sometimes it's what I have, girl. Sometimes it's what I have, but it's not what I want. So today we're gonna try to avoid that. And the first way I'm gonna do that is by going into Banter here. This is the ColourPop Bare Necessities palette. I've never used this palette before, obviously, but I was looking for a really cool shade for this video, and I think Banter might be it. For comparison, here's Banter, and here is Hoola. Sometimes I really do my nose contour with Hoola, and that's so orange by comparison. I don't know. So what I'm gonna do is take this BH Cosmetics brush. I think this is probably a bit fluffier because I have seen, of course, people do their nose contour in full face tutorials. This is a bit fluffier than what most people use. I think most people use a very precise brush to do this. But when I do my nose contour, I sort of like to get the general pigment down with a light hand and a fluffy brush and then go back in and refine with other pigments. So all I'm gonna do, first I'm gonna take that color and I'm gonna dust it all along the bottom of my nose. I have a pretty round nose at the bottom here. You can see I have a very straight bridge and then it very much rounds out at the bottom. So when I do my nose contour, I really don't focus on anything above here. I sort of just only focus down here. But I found that when I put a lot of powder down here, it lifts my nose a little bit. I'm gonna keep taking that Banter shade up the bridge of my nose and into my brow. And then doing that on the other side. It's also worth pointing out right here, right at the beginning, that every nose is extremely different. This is certainly not a one size fits all tutorial. Really no tutorials are, I guess, but noses especially. The way you contour your nose is very individualized to what your nose looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and take this pigment down, just blending it out towards the edges of my nose. So if you try this tutorial and you find that it doesn't work for you personally, it can be as simple as creating these lines a little wider, a little closer. Some people like doing a little line right here, which helps lift the nose a little bit. I might do it, usually I don't. Some people only contour by doing like basically a little circle right at the tip of their nose. Some people only contour right here to straighten their nose and they leave the end of their nose completely untouched. So this is very much an individual practice, but I am going to show you guys how I do it. So I want to make sure in this step that it's as blended out as I can possibly get it. Next, I'm going to take the Hello Happy foundation in the shade number 3, and I'm going to stick that on this BH Cosmetics number 8 brush and just follow those lines back up into my brow. This for me has always been the hardest part of nose contour. I don't know why. I think it's because my nose is so round at the end that it's hard to get a line that actually goes straight up. And then do the same on the other side. If you guys celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah, what is the best present you either got or gave? Usually I like giving my little brother presents the best. This year I gave him an unmeasurable number of Pokemon cards. And we are also going to LA. My little brother and my family lives in Virginia. That's where I am right now. We're gonna fly off to California in a couple days and go to Disneyland. So I'm really excited. This is the BH Cosmetics number 7 brush. This is not sponsored by BH Cosmetics, obviously. It's sponsored by Audible. I just happened to get this brush set from Beauty Bay like a couple months ago, and I love these brushes. I think they're great. I'm gonna take that same shade that's slightly lighter than my skin tone, and I'm gonna go up underneath my nose, just like this, keeping that V shape intact. And then on that same flat brush, I'm gonna take Banter again from the ColourPop palette. You know the one. And I'm just gonna take it around my nostrils and snatch those as well, because why not? If we're already here, I don't normally do this step, but what I do is I take the pigment and sort of drag it. Just looks a little bit more tapered. So basically the pigment goes right here and then points up. Thickest here, tiniest up here. I really have, as silly as it sounds, found that my nose ring does like get in the way of me doing my makeup. Sometimes I take it out, but I won't subject you guys to that. Now I'm taking this fluffy brush and I'm just gonna blend everything out. And when you're blending, make sure to blend down rather than going like this, because obviously this is gonna mess up all the lines that you just drew meticulously. We are doing some vertical blending, baby. See, this is why my nose contour always looks like shit, because I'm really lazy. Getting a really snatched nose contour is so much harder than getting a really snatched cheek contour. But I am excited if this looks good. To have a really snatched nose for like events and stuff, and if you guys already contour your nose every day properly and with the right amount of time allotted, then this could be really helpful for you. Next, I'm gonna go into the shade Velveteen. This is much darker, and I'm going to take what would essentially be a brow brush or an eyeliner brush. This is BH Cosmetics number 10. I'm going to take a tiny bit of that powder, then I'm going to knock all the powder off, and on the inside of where we made that V initially, I'm just going to create a couple lines. Scoop under the nose, and then again make sure to blend that out. I'm gonna add a little bit more powder to the side, and I'm also gonna be taking a lighter powder. The powder that we were using before is number 3. I'm a number 4, so this is just slightly lighter than my skin tone. And the reason I use something slightly lighter is because we're not actually blending into my skin tone. I'm blending into my under eye powder, which is a little bit lighter than my skin tone. But for the bridge of the nose, we want this to be the lightest, the brightest. We are gonna take number 1, which is much lighter than me, obviously, it's the lightest. And I'm gonna take that down the bridge of my nose, just right in the middle, bringing it all the way down. Creating that one line in the middle is gonna make my nose look much less round and much more straight, a little longer, which I don't mind because I don't have a long nose to begin with. Then I'm gonna take that white powder up and just sort of fan it out into my forehead. You can just already see how much more uniform that makes my nose look in relation to the rest of my face if I just extend that up. And again, we blend. I feel like that's this entire tutorial. Next, I'm again gonna take this tiny detailing brush and my Benefit Cookie highlighter. This highlight is blinding. I love it for a nose contour because you don't have to use much product, which means you don't have to add much texture to get a really blinding highlight. And what I do is I just take my tiny little eyeliner brush and add it just right in the middle. Weirdly, sometimes I do my highlighter like this, horizontally, and sometimes I do it vertically. If I want my nose to look more upturned, I will actually do it horizontally because that gives me sort of like a little button nose. If I want my nose to look longer, usually, of course, I'll do it vertically. And then rather than taking up the entire bridge of my nose, because I don't want my nose to look shiny, God forbid, I'm actually just gonna take it right in between my eyes. Right here, just dust it really precisely. Ooh, sometimes I like to go over my nose contour with this IT Cosmetics. This is the Bye Bye Pores Translucent Finishing Powder, but I just take my fluffy brush, just get a little bit of the product and just stick it over my entire nose. I feel like adding a little bit of finishing powder on top, if you're worried about your nose contour being too obvious, just sort of melts everything together. And we are done, my loves! This one was very different from my normal videos in that I didn't really know what I was doing to the degree that I normally do. If it wasn't clear, I'm very open to suggestions on video ideas. So if you have an idea that you'd like to see, let me know down in the comments, whether it's something that you think I do really well, or even something you think I should improve on. Because when I do a video like this, it puts me under the microscope, and I have to really try. Put, of course, a nose emoji down in the comments if you made it this far so I can see who my real ones are, and thank you for being my friend today and always. I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah. Bye, guys.